Hello, I am Edoardo Melilli. I am a nephrologist from Barcelona. I am one of the member of the social media team from IRADTA, and I'm very happy to introduce you Tobias Hauser. Tobias is cursing his doctoral thesis in nephrology, and his abstract has been selected as one of the best abstract accepted for IRADTA, that this year is, as you already know, a virtual meeting. So Tobias, please, just could you present your result? Thank you.
Thank you for the kind introduction. Great. All right, dear ladies and gentlemen, dear Edoardo, thank you for the introduction. In the following, I'd like to share with you data from the MIRENDA trial regarding the impact of spironolactone on diastolic function in hemodialysis patients. Patients on maintenance hemodialysis are known to often suffer from cardiac diseases and especially from diastolic dysfunction. And there are a lot of studies investigating possible treatments for this condition, and there are controversial results regarding the impact of aldosterone antagonism on improving diastolic function. In the MIRENDA trial, we investigated in a randomized controlled double-blind setup the impact of 50 milligrams spironolactone administered once daily on improving diastolic function. And this data was collected at baseline and a 40-week follow-up. Diastolic dysfunction was determined according to the American Society of Echocardiography 2016 guidelines. At baseline, we enrolled 61 patients with complete echocardiographic workup and randomized these patients one-to-one to spironolactone and matching placebo. And about 20% of our participants were female. They were in their late 50s on average, presented with elevated levels of NT-proBNP, and about 50% showed symptoms compliant with New York Heart Association functional class 2 or higher. Also, at baseline, as you can see in figure 1, half of patients showed different grades of diastolic dysfunction on echocardiographic assessment. At follow-up, diastolic function improved in 2 and deteriorated in 3 subjects on spironolactone treatment, whereas in the placebo group, diastolic function improved in 3 and deteriorated in 2 patients. No change in diastolic function was observed in 14 individuals on spironolactone and 10 receiving placebo. According to the diagnostic algorithm proposed by the American Society of Echocardiography, 18 patients could no longer be allocated to a distinct group of diastolic dysfunction, and this was as these patients needed to be classified as indeterminate, even though they only showed mild alterations in diastolic function parameters. And therefore, with this study, we concluded that 40 weeks of spironolactone treatment did not affect diastolic function in hemodialysis patients. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Tobias. Very nice work. Congratulations. I had just a per question. The first is, do you think that many patients had normal diastolic dysfunction at study entry could have an impact on results? I mean, probably if you select a patient with the worst diastolic function, you can have better results. I don't know if you are thinking to change the design for a study in the future.
That's a good question. You're absolutely right that our patients in general were a pretty healthy collective when you think of hemodialysis patients. And that was mainly because the primary outcome or primary interest of the MIRENDA trial was reduction in left ventricular mass as measured by cardiac magnetic resonance imaging. And therefore, as a secondary endpoint, we only had this more or less healthy patient collective to start with. And you might be right that if we took a look at more ill or more severely ill patients, that a spironolactone treatment might have a better effect. And I think it's absolutely worthwhile to investigate this in the future.
Yes, yeah, nice. And the other question is, what do you think about, there is room for spironolactone in improving global longitudinal strain function? You know, this is another kind of method to look at not diastolic function, but systolic function. I mean, the left ventricular strain. Do you think that in your study, do you have collected also this parameter with the strain with the echocardiograph to look at them?
We did also take a look at GLS data, yes. But also, I did not show this on this poster, but we also investigated the how some other echocardiographic parameters would change or not change, and we did not find anything on GLS as well. We're currently looking into this matter regarding not diastolic dysfunction as our major outcome, but regarding heart failure preserved ejection fraction.
Okay, thank you so much. Very interesting. Congratulations again. Your abstract was scored among the 12 best abstract among the 140 top scored by reviewers. So congratulations. And please stay connected, stay tuned, and follow us. Okay.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to it. Bye-bye.